Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We finally learned what's going on with Shang-Chi 2, and it looks like it's going to be connected with Marvel's new plan to reincorporate the Iron Fist mythology from the Marvel Netflix Defenders shows into the MCU. That's right, Iron Fist in Shang-Chi 2. The same way they brought back Daredevil, Punisher, just in general, all the Defenders characters slowly coming back. So we'll break it all down, because it reads like Marvel was basing some of this new story on everyone's fanfiction about Shang-Chi versus Iron Fist in the MCU. Like, oh, if you're gonna do Iron Fist, why don't you just do them in the Shang-Chi movies?
Danny. Danny. You okay?
It's just a bad memory.
It's in the past.
I hope so.
If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. We have X-Men episodes starting next week. Of course, I will be doing videos for everything. But recently, we learned that Marvel had plans to bring Iron Fist back on one of its other TV shows later this year called Eyes of Wakanda. That's meant to be a completely different show in Wakanda about a different group of people across the ages, going back in the history of Wakanda, meant to protect vibranium from outsiders, quote unquote, basically protect it from villains around the world trying to steal it. And at some point during that show, they were supposed to feature a version of Iron Fist. This is all hot on the heels of them bringing the Daredevil character back and canonizing all the Marvel Netflix stuff to the MCU, but it was still kind of a huge surprise because everybody expected Marvel to swerve a little bit on Iron Fist just because of the way that show was received back in the day. But the Iron Fist mythology is so huge in the comics, even if they wanted to swerve on the Danny Rand version of Iron Fist from that Netflix series, it would be weird if Marvel never did any version of Iron Fist ever again. So it was only a matter of time before they brought a version of Iron Fist back. Finn Jones, who plays Danny Rand, was also talking about coming back in the MCU with Colleen Wing, doing Heroes for Hire with Luke Cage, like doing brand new seasons of their shows.
I mean, I love Danny Rand. I love Danny Rand. I love that character. I love everything about him. I think he's such a jewel. A lot of room for growth. Personally, where I would like to see the reintroduction of the character would be something like a Heroes for Hire TV series. I think that would be the most dynamic and the most fun way to reintroduce those characters. And I think I loved working with Mike. I loved the on-screen chemistry between Danny and Luke. I'd love to pick up the mantle again and keep moving this character forward, and make it the best possible Iron Fist that there could be.
That was meant to be part of a larger conversation he was having about Iron Fist Season 3, what they had originally planned on doing with the characters had they continued like Orson Randall, getting into more of the mythology of the Iron Fist, the ancient versions of the character, and doing new Heroes for Hire stuff with Luke Cage. And now in present day, it seems like this new Iron Fist that's supposed to debut during the Eyes of Wakanda series might be connected to the Iron Fist that Shang-Chi meets during the Shang-Chi 2 movie. We learned a little bit about the reported plot of the movie. This is what it's supposed to be, at least right now. I'm expecting this to change just a little bit, just because Marvel's scripts change even on the day that they're actually filming stuff. But it's supposed to get into the origin of the 10 Rings of Power, no big surprise there. It's supposed to provide a more comic book accurate origin story for the rings. Like, there have been a lot of theories about how they were created in the MCU. Apparently it's going to be relatively similar to the reason they were created in the comics, meaning that they would be connected to the McLuhans in some way, the race of space dragons in Marvel Comics. In the MCU, though, that would be the race of dragons that the Great Protector Dragon comes from. We're also supposed to meet more dragons from his race and learn more about their history. I'll explain their backstory later in the video because we already know some of that. And the movie is supposed to include time travel elements, which is where this version of Iron Fist comes in. There have been a lot of theories about this for the last couple years. Like, you've probably seen the fake Marvel titles like Shang-Chi, The Wreckage of Time. That's all just fan creations. But it sounds like for a couple of years, there have been a lot of rumors about them including time travel elements, and that's why fans were coming up with this title for the movie. That's not going to be the actual final title of the film. The reason why everybody thinks this new version of Iron Fist that we're going to see during Eyes of Wakanda is meant to be the ancient version of Iron Fist, like the very first person to wield it, is because there's a time travel element, so to speak, during the series, because it's going to take place over the different ages, so we'll probably just see the older versions of Black Panther during the series. One of these versions of Black Panther, these characters back in the past, will probably run into this ancient version of Iron Fist. And Marvel's kind of known for doing this, like they tease a character or they have a cameo in some smaller project, then they debut as a much bigger character in some future movie. Best example of that is Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like, he has a cameo in Captain America Civil War, then he goes on to Spider-Man Homecoming in his own solo trilogy. Now, it's not totally clear if this ancient Iron Fist that everybody's talking about is either Fan Fei from the more recent Avengers 1 million BC team, or if it's going to be Wu Aoshi, the pirate queen of Pinghai Bay. The Marvel Netflix Iron Fist series was using her as the canonical first person to ever wield the Iron Fist. In the comics, they've introduced a few ancient versions of the character. Originally, Wu Aoshi was not the actual first person to wield the power. She was just meant to be the Iron Fist that was active during the 1500s. But during the Netflix show, when they were explaining how Colleen Wing was descended from the Iron Fist lineage, Danny Rand names Wu Aoshi as her ancestor as the original Iron Fist.
Nagging me ever since Frank Choi told us your mother's story. I've heard that story before, Colleen. In Kunlun, a story about the first woman to defeat the dragon. Her name was Wu Aoshi. You know her as the pirate queen of Pinghai Bay. A woman who may very well be your ancestor.
So that was a small change on the part of the Netflix show, but in the MCU, because they change the comics all the time, they might just carry that idea forward and say that this ancient Iron Fist that comes back in the Black Panther series and Shang-Chi runs into while he's time traveling is Wu Aoshi. Based on all the time travel that's supposed to be happening in the movie, the early theory right now is that Shang-Chi goes back into the past because of the Ten Rings plot. He learns more about the origin of the Ten Rings, the reason for their creation in the MCU. In the time period that he travels back to is when this ancient Iron Fist is active, and he just runs into them there. With a lot of kung fu battles before they work together, since that's the typical arc of most kung fu movies. Like, they treat each other like enemies first, wary of each other, until they realize neither of them are villains, they start working together. And it sounds like the plot will just directly flow from the post-credit scene teaser and the signal the Ten Rings were broadcasting.
They don't match any artifacts from our codex.
How long did your dad have them before he gave them to you?
About 1,000 years?
The thermoluminescence indicates they're older than that, by a lot.
A beacon.
They're sending a message.
A message to where?
Here's the thing though, we were all expecting that the signal coming from inside the Ten Rings was broadcasting to someone else in present day of the MCU, either someone like Kang, because there were so many similarities in the markings of the Ten Rings and Kang's technology during Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, or they were broadcasting a signal to someone in another dimension because the whole race of people came from another dimension, including the race of Great Protector Dragons. But the Ten Rings were meant to have crashed Earth more than 1,000 years ago, according to Shang-Chi. When Wu only found them about 1,000 years ago, then they've been lying there for much longer before he found them. So it sounds like they might be broadcasting a signal to the person or people who created them in the past, like the signal is transmitting across time into the past. And Shang-Chi will just follow the signal like a beacon, and through that he'll learn more about the Ten Rings and why they were created in the first place, and more about the origin of the dragons. One of my early Iron Fist theories a couple years ago about how they could re-include the character in the Shang-Chi movies is just say that he gets his power from a dragon like he does in the comics, but the dragon that each version of Iron Fist has to kill to take its power, like take its heart to gain the Iron Fist, comes from the race of Great Protector Dragons that Shang-Chi's people worship. So essentially it makes Iron Fist kind of a villain to Shang-Chi, like, oh, you killed the Great Protector Dragon to take your power, that means that you're an enemy to me. It kind of sounds like they're using a version of that idea, but in the past. We already know a little bit about the actual backstory of the Ten Rings of Power themselves. In the comics, their backstory got retconned a couple times, so it has changed over the history. Originally, the Mandarin character who Wenwu is based on is an Iron Man character, so this all started in the Iron Man comics. But in the classic Iron Man comics, they started out as 10 different cylinders used by the McLuhans, space dragons basically, meant to power their interstellar spaceship that was super powerful. And that was it, like they were just meant to be very powerful, but not Infinity Stone level power. Then in the more recent Iron Man comics, they retconned them again, saying that they were always created by the McLuhans to be powerful weapons, and each of the different rings were 10 cylinders containing the trapped souls of powerful cosmic warriors, and each of the rings possessed kind of a cosmic AI awareness. Like the Infinity Stones, or even if you're talking about Lord of the Rings of Power, the One Ring of Power, the rings were alive. Just like the Infinity Stones are alive, like they have a consciousness of their own, a will that they exert on the wearer. Sometimes they're often more powerful wills than the wearer, and they can just cause them to do whatever they want them to do. It still doesn't explain why the 10 rings were created in the MCU. Like, what is the whole point? Are they just meant to be a weapon, or are they meant to be part of a cosmic device that someone created in the past? How did they wind up crashing to Earth in the first place? It all sounds like that's just going to be the main part of the plot during Shang-Chi 2. And they have not explained who the actual main villain of the movie is going to be. Previously, I said it could have been a version of Kang, but because of everything that happened with Jonathan Majors in the past couple of years, him being fired by Marvel, I do not think that Kang is going to be featured at any point during the movie. And before the Marvels movie came out, a lot of people thought the 10 rings might be connected to Miss Marvel's bangle. Like, what if the 10 rings were the other bangle? Just because of the way they're worn on Shang-Chi's arms, they're kind of like giant bangles. During the Marvels movie, they confirmed that that is not the case because they revealed where the second bangle actually came from is just like the first bangle. In the backstory of the bangles is a little bit closer to the Kree negabands in the quantum bands of Quasar. So post all your theories about the origin of the 10 rings that they're going to be completely different from Miss Marvel's bangles. Either way, I'm super happy that Marvel isn't totally fridging or passing on Iron Fist characters now that they're bringing everybody back from those Netflix shows and canonizing everything to the MCU. Even if they don't want to bring the Danny Rand version of Iron Fist back right away, or they want to do something different with the character and swerve on the Netflix show a little, Jessica Henwick also talked about coming back as her version of Colleen Wing, Iron Fist, in present day. And here's the thing, here's where we bring things back around to the first Shang-Chi movie. She said that she was supposed to be in that first movie as one of the main female characters, but she would have been playing someone totally different, and had she done that, she wouldn't have been able to come back as her version of Colleen Wing. She never said which character she was supposed to be, but I think it was either going to be Katie or his sister. It would have been one of the major female roles in the movie. Now that they've canonized all the Netflix stuff to the MCU, the Daredevil characters are coming back first. We know Punisher is coming back. We know that Jessica Jones is supposed to come back after him. Marvel's slowly rolling the characters in. They could bring back Colleen Wing in present day through the future seasons of the Daredevil show or other Disney Plus shows based on those Marvel Netflix characters. And just like Finn Jones was talking about, if they want to redeem the Danny Rand version of Iron Fist, I think a smart move for Marvel would be to do a new Heroes for Hire TV show, even if they're just going to do one season of it, with Luke Cage coming back too. Everybody let me know in the comments, if they're doing an ancient version of Iron Fist during the Shang-Chi movie, which version do you want that to be? And how do you want them to bring back the Iron Fist characters to the newer MCU stuff in present day? There's a whole bunch of stuff coming up. I'll be doing X-Men videos in the next week. We have Invincible Season 2 episodes this week too. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. Everybody click here to learn what's going on with Moon Knight Season 2 in Midnight Suns, and click here for that brand new X-Men 97 trailer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.